Hey guys, welcome in. We are back. It is the Outspoken Network here, Sportscast episode. We got your hosts Brian and Craig. Craig, buddy, how you doing?
Howdy, sir.
We are back, guys. We took a little bit of a break. As work's been busy and really the slow period of sports. I think we're gonna do this every year. When we hit that slow down in sports, we'll take a break and go from there. But we're back. We got a very exciting episode today. We got the episode 209, NFL question editions. So this is where me and Craig break down questions for each NFL team going into this season. Questions um, that we feel like they still have lingering, or that we feel like they must answer to have a successful season, and see if they can turn that around. So we're excited to get back into it. The NFL is right around the corner, Craig, and I don't know about you, but that's the best time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, training camp's about to start. You got guys rolling in, and it's about to be. It's about to be, the time where moves get made and everything kicks off. So yeah,
Guys rolling in or sitting out, or so pretty some interesting contract stuff going on between a couple guys, and Saquon Barkley, and it just came out this week that Zach Martin is not happy with his contract and could be sitting out or whatever for the Dallas Cowboys. And so a lot of different interesting things, but let's stick to the questions here that we got lot this last year. This is something we're going to do every year. And last year I did the AFC questions, so I'm gonna do NFC this year. And this year Craig has the AFC questions. Craig, we'll let you start off this year, or let you start off this episode, whatever, with a question for an AFC team that you want, that you think they need to answer.
well, we're going to start with the Miami Dolphins, and the question is, can you keep your quarterback from being carted off the field or dying? When this team had Tua Tagovailoa last year, they were dangerous and they beat a lot of teams. They could beat anybody, but they couldn't keep him healthy. And when they didn't have him, they weren't very good. Um, so the question is, can you keep him healthy, and does he have any outlanding effects from the multiple concussions that he took last season?
Yeah, he worked on apparently learning how to fall this year on the off season, because he didn't really know how to fall.
Sounds so crazy.
It does sound weird, right? I wonder if that's going to help. I guess we're going to find out, because without Tua, the Dolphins weren't much last year. Who do you know who their backup quarterback is? Do they have a?
Skylar Thompson is the guy that played in the playoff game, because now um, Teddy's gone.
Yeah,
They had Bridgewater, he's gone. So I believe it's that Skylar Thompson kid, and he wasn't very good. He played the playoff game, uh,
yeah,
kind of gave the Bills a run a little while, in the second half, but overall he wasn't. There was a very huge drop off between Tua and anybody.
yeah. And then in the Miami Dolphins last year, um, there was a lot of questions about Tua, and is he the guy and all that stuff. And I think their coach kind of answered the question, like, "Hey, I can win with this guy." The question, you're exactly right with that question, is how do we keep him on the field? So
Yeah.
I'm going to start mine off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I started off with one of the worst divisions in football. Um, but last year they were 8-9, and I think the biggest question mark is, where do we go from here? Where do we go from Tom Brady? Um, the quarterback is Baker Mayfield. I don't know about you. I mean, I like Baker Mayfield's heart, but we all know he's kind of a stopgap quarterback. Um, he says he's playing with no pressure right now. He's playing a little more free than he's been. I just don't think the Bucks kind of know what they are. They're going to play good defense. They have still some pieces on the team, but I just don't think Baker there is going to lead them to the promised land. They are in a bad division, a division that's up for takes, so they possibly could get there to win in that division and make a playoff spot. But I just think that's their question. Where do we go from here? We went from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield, and I don't think as a Buccaneers, I don't think any Buccaneers fans out there are feeling too comfortable going into the season.
Well, here we are again with Baker learning a 547th offense that he's learned. Um, in Cleveland, when he was there, he had a new coach every year. Um, he went and played last year, and there was a new system. Now here's a new system. Um, he has really not a ton of weapons over there. I mean, he has, the offense, I guess, has a few, but I, I don't know. It's a terrible division.
Terrible.
If you can win 9 or 10 games, you should walk away with it. Um, I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I they had it's almost like they don't want to play for that head coach. I really thought they might make a change there.
He was bad last year.
But we'll see.
Bad last year.
Yeah.
All right, who's your second team?
Um, the second team is going to be the Buffalo Bills, and it is how long do they have before their window closes? Every year, this team, we called last year the Josh Allen Revenge Tour because we thought that they were just going to come out and make a statement after the not getting a chance playoff game with the Kansas City Chiefs and everything like that. Um, and I just wonder how long before they kind of blow it up and make some changes. Um, I think they need a running back, and Dalvin Cook is still out there. I thought they would have made a bigger push for Hopkins, maybe. Um,
Derrick Henry. Like
Derrick Henry, something, but I just wonder how many years before like Allen had his elbow injury last year, and after the elbow injury, he just clearly wasn't the same after the UCL injury. Um, and I just wonder how many years they have left before they kind of blow it up and just say this wasn't the core group to get it done. And I think maybe this year or next year because here comes Miami, they're going to make a run. The Jets are going to. You think maybe they're going to make some noise? So that division's not as easy as it once was. So how long do you have before you run out of time?
that's a good question. I honestly think that's the season. You don't get these windows where you have guys that stick around.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys stick around, and we thought the Bills last year were going to be on a magical run, and it fell a little flat. They were on a magical run the year before, but the defense doesn't hold Mayfield or doesn't hold Mahomes for 11 seconds, and they fell a little flat. And I think at the end of the season, if they don't make it to the promised land, they may be looking at a head coaching change or doing something because there's something missing here. And they didn't make a big push this offseason. I was
No, they made
disappointed.
basically no changes. That's the
I,
thing
yeah,
that was surprising to me is they've just kind of held. They've made no moves.
I was expecting, hey, they give him a running back. Go get Derrick Henry. Go get Dalvin Cook. But they didn't make any of those moves. And I just think going in and then you got to look at the Diggs. How long is Diggs going to be happy?
Yeah.
Because it's already boiled over last year. I think he settled down this offseason, but going in this year,
Well,
he's going
he
to be
had
a,
some
a
trouble,
problem.
and he already left the facility in the whatever the OTAs or whatever, and so yeah, you just look at how long they have before this thing blows up kind of on them, and so that's my question is how long do they have before things just kind of explode?
All right, my second team here is the Carolina Panthers, and they've made a lot of changes this offseason. They got a brand new head coach. DJ Moore is gone. My question is can they develop Bryce Young? I think that's what they're focused on. This is just a kind of a total rebuild year for them. They changed so much. Bryce Young was To my opinion, the best quarterback coming out in this year's draft. They got the best one. Can they develop him? He's going to be fun to watch. He was fun to watch in college football. He with Alabama. He was able to run, able to throw, make some good throws, and he was fun to watch. So will they be able to develop him? Is the biggest question here that I got for the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina fans got to be feeling pretty good, as they should have their franchise quarterback here going for.
My next team is the New York Jets.
That's
and huh?
That's the most talked about this
And,
offseason.
and we have, obviously, for obvious reasons, the Jets fans are excited as they get the biggest talked about move finally. You hear about this move being made all off season, and that's the Aaron Rodgers acquisition. And they made a bunch of other moves. Basically, they went out and took the Green Bay Packers and moved them up north and moved them
exactly
to New
what they did.
York. And so now you wonder if he has anything left. You wonder if the Jets were supposed to be a quarterback away. So the question is, does this put this team over the top? You had a stud defensive guy last year in, Snacks. You had wide receivers. You had just no offense because the quarterback that they got, they didn't play for. They didn't want to play for, or whatever. The camaraderie, the skills. So he's going to sit. And you put Aaron Rodgers in, and you wonder, does that put this team over the top? You're in a tough division. You're in a tough conference. Does Rodgers put this team over the top? My answer is no.
That's an interesting one. I've seen Aaron Rodgers play a long time. I've seen him be back-to-back MVPs and have his worst football season of his career last year. There's a fall off on talent a little bit. There is. I don't think anybody can argue that. I do think he'll have a good year this year, because he wants to be there. He's motivated to play. To me, that's a lot of his stuff in Green Bay. Didn't like the direction they were going. He had some bad blood between him and Brian, the Gutekunst, the GM, and he's putting in the work this year. He's going to OTAs this year. He's showing up. His wanting to play, I think he'll have a good year. How good of a year, I don't know. Are they going to win the division? I'm not going to say that. I think they're going to fight for it. I think the Jets are in for the same quarterback we got in Green Bay. A lot of regular season wins and a lot of playoff losses.
I just think you
with
went
a short
to,
window.
Yes. I just think if he had more time, maybe, but the AFC is so tough.
Yeah,
The NFC is wide open every year. You never know who's coming out of the NFC. There's no one real dominant team. I guess maybe the 49ers have kind of put themselves up there with winning multiple games every year.
You've got to have Purdy, be who he was last season.
Yeah, but the bottom line is the AFC. You have the Bengals, you have the Chiefs, you have the Dolphins, you have the Bills. I mean, you have multiple teams that you're going to have to go through, to get to where you need to be. And I mean, the division is tough enough, let alone the whole conference. So I just think, I just don't think that at his age and the team, like the team is okay, but it's not great. It's the same team that he had in Green Bay. He doesn't have a star wide receiver. He doesn't have a real star running back. He's gonna learn a new system. Like, can you do it?
there's a lot of going against them, and I do agree with you.
Yeah.
There's no right mind that would say the NFC right now is as tough as the AFC. AFC this is probably the best AFC talent we've quarterback wise, the teams that we've seen in forever. I mean,
And the quarterbacks
it
are all
really
young.
hasn't.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
and you look at the quarterbacks in the NFC, and they don't match up. So we'll see. I'm interested to see. I will be watching a close eye on the Jets, see how Aaron Rodgers is doing. But personally, I'm glad we got rid of him. So
Yeah, contract wise.
the Atlanta Falcons, they my question is, what's their identity? Who's their quarterback? There's a lot of questions going on in Atlanta, and you got a head scratching running back pick of the first pick in the draft of B.J. Robinson. Their first pick, they spent on a running back, and B.J. Robinson, don't get me wrong, is a good running back, but when you're a team that's not like you pick B.J. Robinson when you're a couple players away from a Super Bowl competing. You don't make that pick when you're rebuilding. They have no clue who their quarterback's going to be. They got rid of Marcus Mariota. This team is on a downward spiral, and it's just not looking really good for the Atlanta Falcons at all. In this bad division, I think you're probably last place to win it. I mean, you're like last place in odds to even have a chance to win this horrible division you're in, and I feel bad for the Atlanta Falcons fans because they have no identity. They have this team's lost. They're not going to be good. You're fighting for the number one pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, the B. John Robinson pick is, can you block for him? Can you get him the ball? Can you? I mean, is it going to be? Are you going to rely on him for 40 carries a game? Is that what you're going to? Are you going to burn him out in the first season and a half you
To
have
win
him?
3 games, like,
Yeah,
just
I mean, you
it's
don't really
terrible,
have any kind of an identity at quarterback. Um, I
terrible.
yeah, it's not an ideal. And here, that's a team that talk about fall off a cliff from grace. I mean, this was a team that was in the Super Bowl and up 28-3, and now all of a sudden they're a couple years later and they can't get out of their own way. Um, so yeah, it's confusing on what management is
Head
doing.
scratcher.
Um, I agree with you. Um, drawing a blank on the last team. Um,
Patriots.
yeah, yeah, the Patriots. Is Mac Jones the guy? You have a quarterback controversy in your own system. It seems like the head coach likes the backup in old Zappy hour. Um,
He doesn't really like his starting quarterback, but
that's what that it's really confusing. Is Mac Jones comes out and he's really good the first season, leads you to the playoffs, has a playoff win, like he does really well, and then all of a sudden, like mid-season last year, they're just like, yeah, you're not the guy. And then they kind of, this young kid comes out and he wins a couple games, and then they're like, oh, we don't like him, we're gonna go back to Mac. Like there is, I haven't heard officially if they've named a starter. I don't know if they're going into camp with an open competition, but what are we doing with Mac, and what is the identity again? What's the identity of your football team? Um, you look at it and go, is the football coach wizard losing his touch?
well, I think well, I got a hot take here for you. I think it's a hot take, maybe not, but I think it's Bill Belichick's last season in the Patriots. Um, I don't think they're going to do very good again. I think they're going to fail again, and I think it's time to move on. I think they're going to move on, and Bill Belichick has a lot of issues with Mac Jones. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're legit. I'm not sure. But for a quarterback to come in his rookie year, make the playoffs, and it seemed like you've not
In
built
that
upon.
division.
So it seems like, yeah, in that division, that you haven't built upon that at all, and had a lot more questions since then is a little mind boggling to me. So there has been rumors about Mac Jones going over Bill Belichick's head. I think Robert Kraft likes Mac Jones, and I don't think Bill Belichick. So you have another controversial quarterback where I don't think Bill Belichick and I think Bill wanted to get rid of Tom Brady a long time ago,
Yeah, it's
and
the same thing. It's
yeah,
like the
it's just
same
kind of the
dynamic.
same thing. And I
Is
think at this point, without the success he had with Tom Brady, that Bill Belichick I think this is his last year in with New England.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, and they blame it on the Matt Patricia thing, saying that that
Making him
guy,
offensive coordinator was what?
and he's not an offensive guy, and so you just
It's like
wonder. It makes no sense.
it's like Adam Sandler's movies has all his best friends in it.
Yeah,
It's just, come on down. We'll pitch you somewhere.
yeah,
We'll find you a spot.
yeah. We'll create a
So
character. Um, so yes, I like Mac, but he doesn't. It's not like it's like Bill setting him up to fail, and to prove a point to the owner.
my last team in this division is the New Orleans Saints. The easiest question is it's all about Derek Carr. Can he shine again?
Yeah,
I think a new start for him is gonna be good. This is a guy that character wise is the kind of guy you want. He's a leader. He wanted to bleed um, silver and black until he retired, but that wasn't it. So he goes down to New Orleans. They took him in. I think they win the division this year. Um, Not a hot take. The division's crap, but I think they win it, and it's all going to depend on him. He's got weapons. He's got Kamara. He's got Thomas. Was excited about this. We didn't.
that's your X factor there
Yeah,
is does Thomas come out and reignite his career? He's made up some injuries. He hasn't wanted to play. He's missed a ton of time. And does Michael Thomas help and show up and want to play football? That's
I think
the
he
big.
will because he was excited when they were getting Derek Carr. You got Williams, and then you got the rookie Olave who played really well last year. So there's weapons, and their defense is always pretty dang good. They have a good defensive line. They play really hard, really hard and tough defense. So I think the Saints are the best team in that division. I think they win it next year. I think Derek Carr does shine again. Not saying Super Bowl or anything, but I think he plays well next year. And he's always been up and down, up and down. So hoping that he can be more consistent, but I think he'll play a lot better than he was last season. So pretty
You
easy.
also have to be questioned on whether Kamara is going to get suspended, because
Yeah,
of
he will. Yeah.
if he's going to miss some time there, with that whole off the field.
And I think Derek Carr helps reel that in. Leader in the locker room, reeling them
Yeah.
in from making stupid decisions. So
Yeah. And so I always liked Carr. I thought last year was going to be his breakout year when he gets Devontae. I kind of rode that deal, and in this time last year where we were picking teams and everything like that, really rode that the bought into the Raiders and all that. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. We're gonna go out west, and we're gonna go to the Denver Broncos. And
hope you're listening, Jeff. Hope you're listening.
yeah, the question's pretty obvious: does Russell Wilson make a comeback? Because that was horrible.
There's no way he can be that bad again. I mean,
well, I'm glad we record these things because
talk about falling off a train.
I understand that, but remember what I said.
Ooh.
Like, I wasn't a Russell Wilson fan when this started. I'm like, yeah, what are we got here? Does he go to a new system? Does he learn it? Let's pump the brakes on the Denver Broncos running the AFC West train And that was not only pump the brakes, the train came off the tracks.
I've never seen something fall
Um,
off the track so bad as it did in Denver.
so you got a whole new system out there. You got a new head coach. You the get quarterback's not have his own office. He doesn't have his own people running the building. Like Sean Payton came in and just cleaned up and said, "We're not doing any of that." It looks like Russ has lost a bunch of weight. Looks like he's ready to play football again. My question is, does he, or has that ship sailed, and is Russell Wilson's time in football coming to an end, and that's the worst contract you could have ever given?
I just don't see how it could be as bad as it was. It looked like a high school kid trying to play college football last year or something. It did not commute whatsoever um, to the football field, and I do think they're better. Are they going to win the division? I'm not going against the Chiefs anymore on that. So I don't know, but we'll see. They're going to have to fight for a very tough wild card. It's going to be a tough wild card over the air the AFC. Well, I'm going to go out west as well because my next division. Um, and I got the Seattle Seahawks. And last year, if you can remember, I went on an apology tour to Pete Carroll and apologized because Pete Carroll had this team looking like they were 9-8. They had them. I thought they were going to be fighting for the number one seed, and Pete Carroll
the,
had them in
the
the playoffs.
the Geno Smith revenge tour.
So that is the question is can Geno Smith do it again?
No.
Last year he was 69.8% completion percentage. He threw for 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and had a QBR of 100.9. Best season he's ever had in his NFL career. Can he duplicate it? I don't think so. I here I am doubting the Seattle Seahawks again. But sorry, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
I might have to take another trip on an apology tour
Yeah. Yeah.
to Seattle, but I just don't. I'm
Take
not
the
petty.
take the apology wagon right back down to Seattle.
I might need to send him I'm sorry gift basket this season, but I'm just not buying into Geno Smith having another one of these years. They paid him the money.
I think that's what it is. It's a contract year. He went and showed out and backed up the Brinks truck and got a payday, and good for him. But no, I don't think. I'll have to go with you if that's the case, uh,
Yeah.
because I just don't think that's going to be a thing. Because um, I just don't. I don't think it's he can do it. Gino's never had that success. He's never been that good. And I don't know. Maybe he found something in with the quarterbacks coach and the head coach and the offensive system that he likes. But I just don't think they can do it back to back.
Yeah. I do not either.
Okay, the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, does Jimmy G take his success in winning up to Vegas? There's a question with his contract when they made it. They put an out in it because he had some surgery and but I haven't heard anything. Camp's coming up here in the next week or so, and I haven't heard that Jimmy won't be ready. I haven't heard they're going to avoid it, and I have always been a Jimmy Garoppolo fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
picked the 49ers to win that division on the semblance of Jimmy being the quarterback. If he's the quarterback, then they'll win. Like I don't we're about to find out if it's the head coach in San Francisco or if it's really Jimmy Garoppolo. He won in New England, he won in San Francisco. Can he win in LA? And or Las Vegas? And that is the question mark of all questions is can Jimmy G win? And I think the answer is yes. I think they can be successful. Now I don't think let's not go crazy and think that we're gonna outrun the Chiefs for that division. I think until proven wrong, that division runs through Kansas City. But I
Yeah.
believe they can be successful, and I believe Jimmy can lead that team into the playoffs.
It's very interesting. The Raiders, we thought they were going to have all the success last year when they made the moves they made. The talent's there. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. I know you are. We're on the opposite scales there. I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's an above average bus driver. Um, can he be successful and make the playoffs? I think so. I'm just not a big fan of his head coach. I think his head coach is not good. I don't think he um, gets the best out of his talent.
Keep in mind, though, they know each other.
They do. They do know each other. So that is going for them. Um, but we'll have to see. I just don't like the head coach. I'm not a big Jimmy G fan. He plays good as long as he's
Man, you're fixing
healthy
to put a lot of miles on the
on the
apology bus.
on the apology bus. Um, I love Devontae Adams, absolute beast, the best wide receiver in the NFL.
My question is, does he want to be there now? That's my question because they got rid of his quarterback. My question is, what kind of productivity do you get out of him? Because how vested is he in staying, and how vested is he in being
Yeah, I think he'll be. I think he'll be there, but I just don't like the head coach. I'm not big on Jimmy G. But your question was, can he bring in success over here? I think the answer to that's yes, because he knows the coach, like you said, and he's decent. He's a decent quarterback. I don't want him on my team as a
there? If he can
franchise
stay
guy,
healthy,
but I'm just not
he
a
has
big.
had a problem with injuries.
I can't stand that head coach. I just can't. I just can't do it.
Not a Josh McDaniels fan, huh?
Not a Josh McDaniels fan whatsoever. Um, 49ers are the next team here, and the real question here is who's the quarterback, right? Last year, Brock Purdy came out of nowhere. He looked good. He looked fantastic. And you're asking, okay, can he do it again? He gets hurt. Is he going to be ready? They said he's going to miss a lot of the year. They say he's not going to miss a lot of the year. He's going to be ready. They go out and sign Darnold because they don't have one shred of hope for Trey Lance. You got the Trey Lance freaking question back here going, where is this guy? Why don't we still have him? Who made this pick?
That's my question: is why is he still on the roster?
Um, Probably because the GM picked him. I think the GM picked him. And the head coach said, I'm telling you, he's not going to make it. And he's not making it. And he's just there because he got picked by the GM. Darnold comes in. You're going, okay, well, Purdy must not be ready for the regular season. They're like, oh, Purdy's going to be ready for game one. A lot of questions there as the quarterback spot. The most important spot you got. If Purdy is healthy from his play last year, I don't think you can go with anybody else. Their defense is good. Their offense is good. Their head coach is one of the best in the NFL. They're going to be a good football team. It's just real question is Purdy going to be healthy? And I think if Sam Darnold comes in and plays really well and gets his team winning, then this head coach has a system where he's just proven basically any quarterback can step in and have success.
Yeah, except Trey Lance.
Except Trey Lance.
So, that I have to wonder. You have so many teams out here that are needing quarterbacks. Atlanta and other teams that need quarterbacks. Washington. I mean, just you have several teams that need a quarterback. You could get whatever you wanted for this guy. But you're going to just let him sit and rot on the bench. It makes no sense to me because clearly everything I've read is they're trying to get Purdy ready for game one, and he is going to be the starter. And so if he's the starter, then you have no reason, and you have Darnold on the roster, you have no reason to keep Lance. You're just going to pay him for what? I mean, it's you're just going to stash him on the roster. So, yeah, no, I don't. I agree 100% that Purdy is your guy if his UCL is fixed.
And it's weird to me that no one's reached out and said, "Hey, if you're not going to give Lance a chance, how about
Yeah,
we
no, yeah. What do you want
let's
from
do
him?
this?"
Yeah,
So that's more telling on maybe Trey Lance, but I don't think he's given a fair shot. And he's got the
Nope.
ankle injury, and so a lot of questions there. But I think it's because the GM traded for him or got or whatever picked him, and now we're kind of going. He's kind of going. Well, he's just sitting here taking up a spot.
Yeah. All right. San Diego Chargers. What did they do this year to charger it up and find a way to be unsuccessful?
As Jeff would say, charger it up.
Yeah. I love this kid at quarterback. I love now they have running back questions because they're not wanting to pay the guy. He wanted to leave. Now he's back. Now he's I read yesterday that he's leading Zoom meetings and telling the team he's all in and you know,
Guy's a beast.
yeah, he's an absolute animal. He's out of the backfield, catches the ball, runs the ball. I love the quarterback. The wide receivers, if they can stay healthy, they're great. But this team always finds a way to somehow not win football games and not be successful. So what happens this year? What's different this year is can you do something different to be successful in a very, very tough division, in a very tough place to play? You don't have a huge fan base. You don't have a lot of home support. Like when you go into that stadium, it's not hugely loaded with Charger fans. Can you make this team successful?
Well, they traded for your offensive coordinator, and they got him over there now. So that ought to be interesting to see how that works out. And I think, Justin Herbert, the talent's there, right? And
Yeah.
I think everyone came out and wanted to, after his first season, where they said he wasn't going to be NFL ready, and he came out year one, and because the doctor misplaced a needle into Tyrod Taylor,
Misplaced.
this Herbert got his shot and has never looked back. And I think everyone's kind of now pumping the brakes, saying, "Hey guys, this guy's got to have some playoff success. This guy's got to have some success before we just crown him a really great quarterback." And he's good. I'm pumping the brakes a little bit, saying, "Hey, you got to show me something." They blew that lead. I watched. They had a replay of that game the other day against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where they blew a 21-point lead and lost the playoff game. So that can't happen. But I think we're kind of pumping our brakes. The talent's there, though. I do like the Chargers. They have talent all over the field. And hopefully they get out of their own way and don't charger it up as you pointed out earlier. I got the Arizona Cardinals next, and talk about a dumpster fire of a football team. How far will they fall? That is my question. How far? They were 4-13 last year. I don't know if you can get any worse than that. You're probably fighting for the number one spot this season. You got a brand new head coach that I don't think your quarterback. Your quarterback's going to miss most of the season. There's a lot of changes to this team. You got a brand new head coach, and if I'm not mistaken, there, Craig, Kyle Murray said, they said, hey, Kyle will be the one that helps pick out the new head coach. And then they picked this head coach out, and I'm thinking, there's no way Kyle Murray approved this guy. How many games is Kyle Murray missing? This team is just going to be really bad this next year. So I feel bad for the Arizona Cardinal fans.
Definitely a rebuild year. They're not going to be great. I think he misses almost the whole season. I don't see a reason to rush him back. If
they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't, you're not going, even with Kyler Murray, you're not going to go and make some magical run. Just let him heal 100% and take the year and get you a solid draft pick and take that and use it, and then get use the draft pick you got for Hopkins, use the draft pick you get this year, and kind of speed up the rebuild of this team. Yeah, the head coach was a mind scratcher to me, like where he came from, just
Oh.
why we put him there. Yeah, no, it's not going to be good.
And they already made a head scratching decision when they drafted the guy from Texas Tech.
Yeah,
What's his face? And they didn't succeed there, and you give him a promotion to the NFL, and um, honestly, I think at the end of the year, maybe after one more year, we're looking at a Kyle Murray trade. We're looking at something maybe at the end of
not
next
sure
year.
anybody
I just
wants.
don't.
No, not sure anybody wants that money though. That's
I
the
just
thing.
don't.
Is the money you just gave him?
The rumor is it's going to be Minnesota because Kirk Cousins will be gone next year or something like that. But
Yeah,
that's interesting to talk about later down the road. My next team is the Rams, and all these number one draft picks that they don't have is catching up to them. Their coach decided, hey, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go retire, and then he decided he's coming back. Um, the question for them is simply all on will Matthew Stafford recover? That's it. Um, and I don't know if he will. He had his shoulder injury or it was elbow injury, right? Or shoulder was it shoulder or elbow? It was
elbow.
elbow. Um, and there was rumor that they were trying to trade him before all the money was going to hit, and they couldn't find nobody to trade for. So now they got him on his team. I think this is a team that's going to fall off. They were 5-12 last year because he got hurt. I just don't think with him coming back, they're probably better than 5-12, but they're that mediocre. They're going to be 8-9 team, and I think this is kind of the end for the Rams. And Aaron Donald just was thinking about retiring as well. Maybe he takes that up at the end of the next season, but I don't think Stafford's able to recover and be his former self, and I think the Rams are going to suffer because of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they did try to trade him, and they couldn't get anybody for him, or couldn't get anybody to take him. Um, I think that is. I think Matt's career is probably on the backside and almost
Oh
over.
yeah,
Um,
surprised they won the Super Bowl.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
and he had a really good year that year. I just don't know if I think that success is over. I think the injuries. I think it just. I think they got what they wanted. They traded for him. They got what they wanted. They sold out, and they got what they needed. And now it's on a rebuild. And
But
so,
they got to pay the piper now.
yeah,
So
you got what you. I mean, you it worked, but now you've got to pay for pay up for what you had. My next team is the Kansas City Chiefs, and
what
really,
question? Yeah.
really simple. You didn't make any real upgrades. I really thought they would go for put a real big push for Hopkins, and it sounded like they tried to a little bit. Why he went to Tennessee, I don't know. My question is can the magic of Mahomes continue? This guy has been. We questioned him and said, with this loss of Tyreek, with the loss of this, can he be successful? And he won a Super Bowl. So I think that question's answered.
Yeah, we
Um,
will never second guess him ever
I
again.
and yes, and like I said, the division runs through Kansas City. I'm not going to question that again
The
until
conference
somebody,
runs through.
yeah,
I mean,
and it all runs through Arrowhead or whatever you call that now. Um, yeah, does the magic how long does the magic of Pat Mahomes, does the legend of Pat Mahomes continue?
yep. We we would take that apology train there last year, and I think
Yeah.
we both did last season. So, um, the Lions are my next team in this NFC North here. They were 9-8 last year. Surprising 9-8. They're a weird team because they're decent. Their head coach is a coach that they play for him. He's a really good motivator. Um, Golf has been pretty good there. I think he's really underrated there in Detroit. But my question is, how bad did all the gambling suspensions hurt this team? They lost 4 or 5 guys. They lost their rookie wide receiver. Um, so I just think, how bad does it cost him to lose these players? And um, I said NFC North. I didn't say West. But sorry, that was
49ers, and then you go to the
that because I've covered all the teams in the division.
uh,
49ers, Rams. Yeah, the Rams are the last one. Anyways, you throwing me off here. Anyways, but um, the
they did
Lions are,
they
huh?
did just get a wide receiver.
Who do they get?
Denzel Mims from the Jets, the guy that the Cowboys, he'd been tied to the Cowboys for 2 years now. And they just got him for a conditional 6th-round pick. So that gives them at least a little something to make up for the stuff they
Well,
lost
I
in
mean,
the gambling.
he was a no-show there for New York, but I don't
No,
know.
yeah, no, I agree.
I liked him in Baylor, but I would have given up that for him. Green Bay, what are we doing over here?
Yeah.
The Lions are a moot point. I think it could be about around the same. They're going to be around the same record, maybe a little less. Um,
I don't know. That division got worse. I mean, Green Bay
this
clearly is
we'll
not what
get,
it was. And
we'll get into that all here. Don't Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're probably second in the division. I think Minnesota. I think it's Minnesota's division, but we'll get all that next. What's your next team, sir?
the Cincinnati Bengals. And my question is it finally the year they get over the hump? They went to the Super Bowl, they went to the AFC Championship. Clearly the Burrow and Chase connection is
Money.
money. The running back just goes and restructures his contract to take less money to stay in Cincinnati and wants to bring a Super Bowl to Cincinnati. The head coach, I love that guy. I just absolutely that guy is absolutely has been nothing but successful since going there. Is this the year that they put it all together and climb the mountain and finish the magical story that they've kind of had for the last 2 seasons?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough year for any AFC team with all they've got to face. You put the Bengals in the NFC, they're the best team in the NFC.
Oh, clear.
Over there, they're top 3, top 4. It's crazy how good the AFC is. But I think that's the only question they got to answer. I think you hit it right on the dot. Is this the year? Um, no one expected him to go to the Super Bowl when they did, and they were all like, "Oh my
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
okay." And so they've gotten better, and they've had the success, and it's just about putting it all together again. So you got that question dead on the money. I'm a Joe Burrow guy, so I hope they put it together. Minnesota Vikings are my next team. They were 13-4 last year. Um, they had a lot of success. They had a good season. They lost early in the playoffs. My question is, will their defense get any better? Their defense is absolutely terrible last year. Um, they ranked 30th in points allowed. They were 31st in yards allowed and 27th in defensive DVOA. This defense cannot be this bad again and have them be a real threat to go somewhere. I think their offense goes down a little bit this year. The numbers, I think, they're not 13-4 again. I think that was kind of a fluke last season of how good they were, but with this defense being so bad, and then get this defense to be better. And the offense, if the offense plays the way it was, and the defense steps it up, they're going to be a really dangerous football team. But they're so up and down. The Minnesota Vikings, they kind of like the Chargers, where they kind of get in their own way. They have a lot of talent every year. They just never put it together. I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. That is not taken too seriously around the NFL. Um, He had a great quote. There's this show on Netflix called it's Quarterbacks, and it goes through Mahomes and Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota for some reason, and their lives throughout the season last year. And they were asked Kirk Cousins about his critics, and do you listen to that kind of thing? And he said, if I was walking on water, my critics would tell you it's because I can't swim. I love that. I love that quote. But I can't stand the Vikings, and I hope they are 1-16 next season.
Tell us how you really feel. I don't know. I think that's a 2-team race, honestly, for that division. I could be wrong.
Who is that? Who are the teams?
I think it's Minnesota, Detroit. I think Chicago's terrible, and
Garbage.
I think until Jordan Love proves me wrong, and comes out, you know nothing about this kid. He's played one NFL football game. They put his mom and his girlfriend up in the rafters of the stadium because that's how much confidence they had in that he was going to succeed. So I think it's a 2-team race, and I think those are the 2 teams until, like I said, maybe Jordan Love comes out and lights the world on fire. But until he does, then that's a 2-team race. The Lions showed a bunch of heart last year, and the second half of the season were the hottest team in football. And Kirk Cousins has been successful. Now, what do they do without Dalvin Cook? That's another question in itself.
A big piece gone.
Yep. And the defense was horrible. They couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. So yeah, no, I honestly, if I was picking right now, I would say that's the Lions division to lose, but that's just me. My next team is the Baltimore Ravens, and
was an interesting one.
Was paying Lamar Jackson the right move? Your quarterback held you at ransom, and basically said, "What else are you going to do without me?" We
were hoping. We thought they were gonna.
Yeah,
not.
We thought they were going to be the first team to not be held hostage by their quarterback, and we were wrong.
And they caved.
They caved in just like a cheap tent. So it. I've never been a Lamar Jackson fan. I never will be a Lamar Jackson fan. They, of course, went and made some moves and got some talent out there finally for him to throw the football to. Like, that's,
Odell.
Fine. Yeah, they get Odell if he's washed up. I don't know. It's a name to throw the football to, though, rather than some guy you pulled off the street corner. But I've just never been a Lamar Jackson accuracy, like he's just a runner that throws the football kind of deal. I don't think that team's successful. I don't think that team's successful in that division. I've never been a fan of the head coach. His brother was successful. He was whatever.
Taking shots at the Harbaughs, huh?
They just can't seem to win a big game. They can't. Harbaugh didn't win. He took him to Super Bowls, but he never won it. He hasn't won a big game in Michigan. I mean, they had it set up for him last year in Michigan, and they lay an egg in the biggest game of the year.
TCU, baby.
So I just don't have any confidence that the Raven team will do what it needs to do. I just don't.
Well, I'm right there with you on Lamar Jackson. Was paying him the right move? No, it wasn't. I don't believe that Lamar Jackson will ever win a Super Bowl. And if that's what you're going for, which every team is, then it's not the right move. Now, I like their head coach. I think he's a good coach. I like him a lot. I think this defense is good. I think they finally put some weapons. Well, they put a weapon around him. He's got one of the best tight ends in football. I just don't think Lamar can throw the ball good enough to be an NFL quarterback. And we've seen it time and time again where run first quarterback doesn't win you the Super Bowl. And the closest thing we've gotten to getting a Super Bowl was last year with Hurts. Um, and that's just a fact. So be mad about all you want. There are people, the Ravens fans, you can get mad about it. The Lamar lovers, you can be mad about it. But Lamar Jackson will never win you Super Bowl. Um, so I don't think it was the right move at all. But he is electrifying. He is exciting to watch. I will give you that. Chicago Bears are my next team here. Craig, they were 3-14 last year. And it's simply put to this: is Justin Fields the guy? And Justin Fields is not the guy. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. Justin Fields was the 34th passing quarterback last year. And Craig, how many NFL starters teams are there? How many teams have got in the NFL?
Yeah, 32.
32, and he was the 34th ranked quarterback
Yeah,
last year.
pretty
That
good.
shows you how bad he is at throwing the football. He can run. Again, running is great. It's fun to watch. It's exciting when he picks up the long third downs. This team has no offensive line. They've got talent in other places, but Justin Fields is not the guy. Here's the good thing if you're a Chicago Bears fan. After this year, you have about $100 million almost in cap space. To go spend. So you'll be able to put some money and I hope that I don't hope, I hope you keep Justin Fields and continue to burn. But if you're smart, you go find a different quarterback. I think they're going to put all the chips on the table for Justin Fields. I just don't think he's that good.
I didn't like him in Ohio State. I don't like him now. Um, so yeah, I don't think they have a whole lot in there, and unless he just proves me wrong, he's a glorified running back that throws the football down the field. Um, just the way it is. I just don't. I've never been a Bears fan. They just don't have a ton of talent, and um, even defensively, they've lost a ton. Over the years. My next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is, can the rookie quarterback pick up where he left off and have the success that he had last year? He didn't have a great start. Old Kenny Pickett over there, um, but he had a really good end. He was
Yeah.
very successful, and I guess the real question, probably I need to change it, is does the streak of the head coach continue of being over 500?
Yeah.
We wrote him off for dead last year and said this is the year that it ends, and he rubs the magic lamp and pulls it out of the fire and you know wins the last two games and goes 9-8. I just the team is average. I don't think they're going to make a whole lot of noise. They'll be okay, but I mean they're just not. They're not a contender to make a deep run. I don't think.
Not a deep run. Kenny Pickett had some flashes last
He
year. He
did,
didn't start off very good, but he had some flashes. This defense is there to pick him up. They've got a good defense.
as long as Watt
Um,
stays healthy.
as long as Watt stays healthy. Um, I don't know if the streak continues. That's a tough question.
Yeah,
I think Kenny Pickett will have some success. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the league,
clearly.
and I think he'll get him where he needs to be. I don't know if he's a star quarterback, but he came out and proved a lot of people wrong last year as far as showing some throws and making some adjustments, and so I liked him last year. But Green Bay Packers, all you need is love. God, I hope so. Um, it all depends on Jordan Love. We have some talent. We have talent on offense. We have a good offensive line. We have talent on defense. We should have fired our defensive coordinator, and I could have gone with that question as well as is Joe Barry the guy, because he's not the guy. We should have fired him. He was terrible last year. Hopefully that changes, but it's all on Love's shoulders, and he's got a lot of pressure following up Aaron Rodgers, and We'll see. I just if I'm going off of what I've seen so far, which like Craig said isn't a bunch, I just don't think he's the guy. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope that he makes my buddy Ryan Sims pissed off because Ryan told me if you get a third quarterback that's elite, I'm gonna be so mad. So I hope he does make you mad. I hope he is fantastic. I hope he proves a lot of people wrong. I'm just not sold on him yet. Um, but I wasn't sold on Aaron Rodgers first year either. And when we were 5-11 or 5 and whatever we were, and we were terrible. And people was out the next year. So we'll see. We'll see. It's just a waiting game. But and what sucks is we have 1 year to figure it out because we got to pay him after the end of the season. Um, so we got one season and hope to God he's healthy for all 17 games.
That was where I was going with this. Is you've waited so long to make this move, you've backed yourself in a corner with a 5th year option of um, picking that up or having to pay the kid, and so you better get a good look. You know, he goes out there week 1 or 2 and gets his bell rung, and now you're really in a bind. So I don't, from what I've seen, I don't think it'll be a big success. But that head coach seems to have some things drawn up, seems to be okay. Um,
And we're really going to get a look at LaFleur because
yeah. You
when
don't have
you get a new head coach and
the
you got
MVP to bail you out.
elite quarterback, you kind of take him or he gets not looked at. He doesn't get the success if he's the reason behind it. So we're really going to find out Matt LaFleur and who he is.
So, all right, Cleveland Browns, and the question is, does Deshaun Watson come back and become a successful NFL quarterback, or was the time off just too much to deal? Again, kind of the same boat with the Lamar train. I've never been a huge Deshaun Watson fan. He has more ability to throw the football than Kyler or Lamar, but I still just don't think that he is going to lead this team to 13 or 14 wins. I think this is Stefanski's last year to make or break, deal before he gets fired. Um, I think that contract handcuffed the team, but I think he can be more successful than he was after the time off, because I called that a million times over. But he looked really bad when he came back from the suspension. Does he look better than that? And can he be successful?
Who looked better, him or Russell Wilson last year? Because they were about the same.
Yeah.
I think he has a more successful season this year. Is he going to come back to his form he was? Look, and before in Houston, he was a top 5 quarterback all year. I mean, most of his time in Houston, top 10, top 5 years. I really liked him. I thought he could throw the ball well, and use his legs when needed. But I don't think he's going to get back to where he was. Can he get back to a point where the Browns have a winning season? Yeah, I do think so. Will they win their division? Will they make the playoffs? I'm not sure. I think it is Stefanski's last season, and I think he had a quarterback pushed upon him who he didn't really want, and he kind of had forced to win with him. This contract may be the worst contract we've ever seen in NFL history for a guy who hasn't played football in over 2 years.
Real
So
close.
it's It's very interesting. I do think he'll be better. I don't think he ever gets back to his full potential when he was playing consistently. Um, I do think the Browns have a better year this year, though. I got the NFC East next. We'll start off with the Giants, 9-7. Dayball coach of the year. The way he got this team to play for him was last year a fluke. Yes, yes, it was. It was a fluke, and I do like. I'm not sure. I do like Dayball, and I think that he gets his guys to play for him. I just you're never going to be able to tell me that Daniel Jones is going to have the kind of year he had over again. You're never going to be able to tell me that even if Saquon Barkley is on the team or not, um, that he's going to be healthy. Um, I just don't see it. Who's their wide receivers? They I picked them to beat the Vikings last year in the playoffs. It was a great win, but I just don't see them competing again like they did last year. And I think they fall off this season, and they'll fight for the Commanders for the last spot in that division.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You had two guys that were on contract years that did exactly that. They had successful years. Saquon finally played all the games and has had a great year. Daniel Jones had his career year because they wanted money. Daniel Jones got his money. Saquon didn't. Therefore, Saquon may not even show up. But the bottom line is that team will not be anywhere near as successful as it was,
No,
and um, especially in that division. That division is a two-team race, period. And so, um, yeah, absolutely. Um, we are going to start with the Indianapolis Colts,
dumpster fire.
and that is what does this team even? What is the identity of this team? Where like what do you if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, what do you have to look forward to in this season? And I can't find it.
Andrew Luck took that identity when he quit the team and walked out the building. Yeah, they never found it since.
You try they've been trying to replace it with veteran old quarterbacks and that didn't work. I don't even know who the quarterback of the
Anthony
Indianapolis.
Richardson, the guy they took,
Oh,
the
that
reach they took this year.
the Florida, yeah. Well, at least we went the other way now. We went
Really
younger.
young,
We didn't
really
go
young.
with the geriatric over the hill guy. So
Surprised
like
they
they
didn't
did,
call Phil Rivers. Hey
uh,
guy, hey buddy.
and they still might. Um, but yeah, this team, I don't see this team winning. You want to talk about a team that's going to compete with the Falcons for the number one pick? This is it.
That's it.
Um, so yeah,
When your star player is your running back, that's
yeah.
just not gonna do it.
And he didn't have a great season last year.
No, he
He
fell
didn't.
off a cliff.
Yeah,
People
great.
wonder why running backs don't get paid.
Yeah, that's it.
Parents, don't let your kids be running backs. Bottom
Yeah.
line, they're not getting
There's
paid
other team. There's 12 other positions. Use
because
that.
NFL teams are smart.
Yeah.
The Commanders are my next football team. I guess they're going to change their name again at the end of the season. Apparently, they were 8-1 last year, and my question is, the rumor was that Sam Howell is kind of a hidden gem. Well, we're going to find out this year. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback this year. They say he looked really good last year, but they didn't really put him in. He has weapons. He's McLaurin and Dotson. This defense has some, if they're healthy on the front side of it, it's really good. But the question is how good is Sam Howell going to be? And did they make a coaching change? Because I don't think they did.
No, I'm trying to figure out how that guy still has a job. I think he tried to get fired, and
they stuck around.
They did not do it. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, is still out there somehow.
Should have been gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it very mind-boggling, this football team, and I think he will be gone next year. The sale goes through for the Washington Commanders, and they're talking about changing the name again, and what a debacle that's been. And now they got to reprint merchandise. And anyways, that's just a debacle of an organization like it always has been. And you're hoping I'm not hoping that the new regime comes in and a successful football team. I don't care about that. I hope that they come in and they run the organization with dignity, and you have no more sexual misconducts and piece of crap stuff like that happening behind the
Walking
scenes.
up glass staircases.
It's absolutely disgusting, and I think we can all agree that Dan Snyder being out um,
Yeah,
from owning
it
this
was
football team
years.
is
It was years too late. Is what it was.
no, it
The
was.
NFL dropped the ball on that completely.
Way to
Um,
go, Jerry.
so
It's his best buddy up there.
yeah, so the end of the day is I don't know what Sam Howell's going to bring. I don't know what the team is going to look like. I know what the head coach was trying to do, was trying to get himself fired, and he didn't do it. I think this is Rivera's last season. I don't even know if he makes it the full season. That's the guy that will start. You always wonder which coaches will start on the hot seat, and Ron Rivera is the leading candidate for that. Um, I don't. Again, you haven't seen enough in Sam Howell to make it even a educated guess as to
No.
what he'll be. Um, they do have talent offensively. They do have talent defensively, but they don't pick up the option on uh, the defensive end up there that is a stud. Um, just every decision this organization makes is questionable, and so
They get everything wrong. They can't get a
yeah,
statue right.
they can't. No,
They
they put a champs. They put a champs. Apparel figure as a dedication statue.
I'm just it's all it's just
It
laughable.
yeah. So the organization. You hope that this new Magic Johnson and this guy that are coming in right now come in and change the culture of the organization. So, um, my next team is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and can
Your favorite quarterback.
yeah, no, he's not. Uh, can Trevor Lawrence repeat what he did last year? And
We talking about the first 8 games or the last 9 games?
I mean, he went to the playoffs. I've never been a fan of this kid. I just haven't.
You hate this guy.
I do. I do. And I might have to take my apology wagon and run it right through Jacksonville, but I don't think this kid has the longevity to continue to be successful. I think he's mediocre at best. I think he's going to have flashes where he's good and he'll have some throws that he makes, but I'm not on the Trevor Lawrence bandwagon. I just can't.
I'm gonna go opposite of you just because
Imagine that.
it's fun. I think Trevor Lawrence has turned it around. I think I told you last year when they hired up um what's their head coach's name? Why am I who's their head
The
coach?
guy from the Eagles,
Yes. Gosh dang it.
Peterson.
Doug Peterson. Thank you. I can
You're
picture
welcome.
his face and his stupid visors he wears, but I couldn't think of his freaking name. Now, I'm going to go opposite of you because I told you Doug would turn him around a little bit, and they made the playoffs last year, and they beat the Chargers, and they had a successful season. I think he's opened up Trevor Lawrence, and we'll see more of a consistent quarterback last year. It was fun watching him beat the Cowboys last season in a crazy overtime game. But I'm going to go opposite. I think they have a good year. I think they're more competitive than most people think, and I think Trevor Lawrence is the reason.
No, yeah.
Now, the Dallas Cowboys are my next team here, Craig. And I could have gone with the easiest question mark of is Dak the guy? But I didn't go with that question because that's the easiest one. My question is McCarthy the offensive mastermind to get the best out of Dak? And I don't think he is. I still have questions on if Dak is the quarterback to take the Cowboys to the promised land. But at times last year, this defense led this team. They get rid of their offensive coordinator. They bring in Coach McCarthy. I'm not a big Coach McCarthy fan, Craig. I don't know if you've picked that up from me.
Yeah, no,
Um,
not at all.
he he won a Super Bowl. Cool, that's great. He never changed. The reason he got out of the reason Aaron Rodgers got him fired from Green Bay is because he never changed. He stayed the same. So I'm hoping that you better hope that he's changed. They talk about running the football more. I'm like, this is not the '90s. You can't run the football more. That's not what you need to do. You know, Zeke Elliott's not there anymore. You didn't make it a long term contract with Tony Pollard, um, which I'm fine with not paying your guy. You know, not paying running backs. I'm fine with all that. I just don't think McCarthy is the guy to get the team to the promised land. I honestly don't think you win your division next year. I think this is the Eagles' division, and you'll be second place again. But that's my question to you, Craig. Is McCarthy the guy to get them where they need to go?
Well, this is going to be a twofold answer because no, I don't have faith in McCarthy, but I do have faith in Dak Prescott. Um, the guy he shows up to camp, he looks just absolutely ripped. He has vowed to not throw double digit interceptions this year. They have Brandon Cooks. They have Neil. I don't know what system McCarthy's going to run. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're going to rely on their defense to put them in a better position. I think they're going to not be the big play. Dallas Cowboys have relied on the big play for several years. And I think they're going to be more methodical, more slants, cuts, runs, and we'll see if that offense works. Like I think it's going to be like a time like hold on time of possession offense rather than quick score down the field like they've been for the last few years. But I think Dak's the guy, and I think he can. And I think they win the division only because I don't have any faith in the quarterback in Philadelphia. I think that was a one season wonder, and I've never been a fan of his either. But we'll get to there in a minute.
What was I going to say? Oh, I think Jerry Jones finally agreeing to let his guy go was saying, McCarthy, you better. It's NFC or bust. It's NFC Championship game or bust this year for Coach McCarthy, in my opinion. Jerry Jones doesn't have a long time left, and he let his wonder kid go. And I've drawn a blank on his name, but he goes over to the Chargers.
Kellen
And
Moore.
there you go, Kellen Moore. And it's all on McCarthy now. And McCarthy's calling the offensive plays. And we're going to find out if McCarthy's that guy for him. But that's my question. And I still think there's questions on Dak and throwing 10 interceptions last year. Didn't show up in a big game. So there's questions there for Dallas. Did they get better on the roster wise this offseason? I think you'd have to say yes, they did. Zeke Elliott's not running the football no more, so that's a good thing. You added a decent wide receiver that's going to add and open up the field for your quarterback, and it's going to open up the field for the other wide receivers and Pollard out of the backfield. Cooks is a good wide receiver. You added in a cornerback. What's his face?
The guy from New England.
Yeah, he came from Indy though. He's older, but he had a good year last year. Trayvon Diggs is in contract.
Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Stephon Gilmore. So yeah, it's Stephon Diggs. Is it Stephon Diggs or what's
No, Trayvon.
Trayvon? I had it right the first time.
Stephon's
Yeah, the wide
playing for
receiver,
the.
freaking Bills. Yes, Trayvon Diggs is fighting for a contract. That's going to be a interesting going forward here with you guys. Your offensive lineman Zach Martin sitting out because he does not happy with his contract. So a lot of questions. But the biggest question to me is your coach.
The next team is the Tennessee Titans, and the question is, what is the identity of this football team?
Sell, sell, sell. Get rid of that stock. The Tennessee talk. Get rid of it.
You've gotten rid of your running back. You don't have any
Wait.
faith.
They got rid of Derrick Henry?
Did they not? Did they not?
They didn't trade Derrick Henry, nobody.
Well, I thought they just released him. I thought they put him on waivers.
No, you keep talking. Let me look that up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the talk is that he's over the hill, and they don't have any. They weren't using him, and yeah, I thought Henry was.
No, he's still on the team.
Okay. Well, anyway, you really don't have a quarterback. The veteran quarterback doesn't want to train the new, doesn't want to be the thing for the new guy. The new guy wasn't real successful.
They already want to get rid of him.
They drafted
a new guy, though.
Will Levis.
Will Levis, yeah.
So I don't know who the starter's going to be. So you got quarterback inconsistency and deal. You've got a running back that may be over the hill, and the team is in shambles. I think this is that guy's last year as head coach, even though he's had success.
It is.
I think that team is just in shambles, and even though the division's not real great, I still don't think they're gonna.
It's sell Tennessee Titans stock. It is holding on to players too long. It is ready for a rebuild, and I like the head coach.
No, yeah, he has success. He's been real successful, but I think it's just time for a new. It's time for a new start.
All right, my last team is the Philadelphia Eagles. They were 14-3 last year. They have a great roster. They have a great defense. They had a good offense. I think the easiest question and the number one question for this team is, can Hurts be the same guy he was last year? I want to see him do it again because he's another guy that throws the ball, but he runs a lot. They had a great roster. They've got defense. They've got weapons on offense. A lot of the weapons work out for his game, which I like. A.J. Brown works out for his game. He can just throw it up anywhere, and A.J. Brown's going to come down with the ball. They got Smith as a wide receiver. He's an absolute beast, too, as well. And the running back, they should go out and get Dalvin Cooks to add that running back room. But this team,
now that would be not great if that happened. Yeah. That would be scary.
I think Hurts can do it again. I'm going to have a little more confidence in him than you do, Craig.
Well, that doesn't take a lot because I have 0.
So, yeah,
one is more than 0.
I'm not full blown here saying he's going to come out like he did this last season. He had one hell of a year. Are they going to go 14-3 again?
Playing for a Brinks truck, then yeah.
I don't think they're going to go 14-3.
That schedule was terrible.
But I do think I think, like I said earlier, I think they win the division, and I think they're still the team to beat in the West. And it is a 2-team race here. It's the Eagles or Cowboys, and I just think the roster is better than Dallas, and that's why I'm going to pick them over the Cowboys there. But that is my last question. There is, can Hurts be the same guy? We know Craig hates him, but.
Yeah, I don't think he can be. I just don't. I mean, the roster is good. The roster is very well put together.
One of the best GMs in football.
That GM and deal is absolutely one of the best in football, and so we'll see. I mean, definitely a 2-team race. I mean, they definitely make the playoffs. I think. I don't see them falling off and winning 8 games or anything. But I think they're a 10-win football team, and I think the Cowboys are probably similar, 10, 11, 9, somewhere in there. and so I think it'll be down to the final couple weeks. My last team is the Houston Texans, and
Go- Dumb. I mean, what?
I don't know where you go from. You
Just
know,
developing the quarterback they got,
yeah,
pretty much.
just it's we're in rebuild mode and deal after the Deshaun Watson debacle. Um, they had a good draft. They go and get this, and then they give up a king's ransom and come back and get their other guy that they want. So they get the quarterback, they get the defensive guy, um, and so
I'm
we'll
interested to see
see.
their new head coach from the 49ers.
Yeah, we'll see how well he does, and um, so it'll be interesting to see. I think they're obviously a couple years away from being super successful, um, but yeah, um, we'll see. That's um, the wrap for the AFC, and
Yep.
look forward to the upcoming season and next week's show as well.
Next week, we're going to come up with a top 10 quarterback list going into this year. We're going to come up with both our top 10s. They just released a top 10 last week of the quarterbacks they think are the top 10 in the league. So that's always interesting. I think last year we pretty much had a lot of the same, just maybe in a little different order.
Just a different order, yeah.
This year, I mean, it's probably going to be about the same, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. You're a little higher on Dak Prescott than I am. I want to see how far Aaron Rodgers falls in your list and my list, and go from there. Where does Josh Allen sit on this list? And the lack of success for Justin Herbert, and so all these things you got to take into consideration, guys. Though, but we're glad to be back. We'll be back next Friday as well. And when football season kicks off, we're going to go back to Tuesdays. And actually, we're going to change our days. We're going to change it to Tuesdays, Saturdays. Fridays are just too busy for me and Craig. Um, Real just too busy, and we're not able to jump on. So it's gonna be Tuesdays and Saturdays going forward from here on out. We got to get Jeff to change the graphics once again. Sorry, Jeff. Um, but Craig, before we let you go, before we jump off here, go ahead and tell me about your locker.
Um, had work this morning and just kind of enjoyed the rest of the day. And tomorrow will be just watching baseball. I think my son's got a party at main event to go to, so I may run him over there. But just watching baseball and see looking forward to this trade deadline to see the moves that are made. The Giants are tied to several people. One of them being Justin Verlander, and one of them being Shohei Ohtani.
I think everybody's tied to that guy.
Not sure you want to give up the king's ransom for a guy that is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Never been a fan of that. Um, so, um, but I would be in for Verlander for a month or two. Um, so that's about it. Just relaxing and being ready for work for next week. And what about you? What's in your locker?
Well, today I did not a whole lot. I needed some sleep. I slept in. I usually go grocery shopping on Saturday and smoke some meat as I got a Pit Boss Laredo 1000 over here that I've been smoking some meat and testing out some new things. And I'm love it. It's fantastic. I didn't smoke any meat today though. I took the kids to our church. They had a outdoor water thing, and they actually smoked brisket, and we ate some food.
Not sure if that is yours or mine that froze.
So,
There you go.
guys, oh, there you are. I know you froze up, but
Oh, see, yours froze on my end.
that's funny. It says, "Oops, it looks like you're having," and then you were frozen. But anyways, I don't know if you caught any of that.
No, I
Um,
did not. That's why I was starting to talk because I didn't mean to talk over you, but it was frozen. So I was like, "Yeah, is there
I
dead
wonder
air?"
I wonder who's it gonna be when we download it? Who's
Yeah.
gonna pop up? Well, I'm talking about smoking some meat. I didn't do this weekend. I went to church today and we did a little cookout thing there. And then tomorrow we got church, and I'm going to take the kids out to school back to school shopping for some clothes and stuff like that before it gets too hectic out there, and then hopefully be able to relax before we start a whole new week. We had an interesting week last week as we had a truck fire at work, and that was um, always pretty crazy when that stuff happens. But all right, guys, we'll look forward to us being back next week. We'll give you a top 10 quarterback list, go over all the sporting news in that's happened this week that we may have missed, or that comes upon us this week as well. We'll talk a little bit of maybe some more baseball, any more trade deadlines. I'm interested to see what deals the Rangers might have and make. We're linked to Shohei Ohtani too. I don't think anybody can trade King's ransom unless he gets a little guarantee he's going to sign there.
Yeah, if
Um,
somebody could do that, which I don't even know if that's a legal deal to be able to talk to the agent and say, okay, if I give you these numbers, does that work for deal? I don't even know if that's legal to do. But to give up three top 100 prospects is an awful lot for a guy that may only play about 65 games with you.
yeah.
So
All right, guys. We'll look forward to us next Friday. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend and enjoy your week. God bless, and remember,
keep it outspoken.